Hi there, this is John Wilkinson again from History Made Easier, looking at how the Nazis forced compliance and maintained control. I've looked at how the Nazis organised to catch those who opposed them and those with whom they disagreed, the so-called social deviants or asocials such as homosexuals, beggars and habitual criminals, and the racially defined enemies, Jews and Gypsies. Well, in this presentation, I'll take a look at what they did with them. In my first presentation on Gleicheltung, I said that when the courts failed to prosecute communists, other than van der Lubbe, for the Reichstag fire, even after Nazis concluded that the Communist Party was behind the fire, which it wasn't, the Nazis in April 1934 set up a People's Court and a system of special courts for charges of treason and for political offences, according to Nazi socialist principles. Already by 1935 there were 25 of these courts across Germany. 2 judges, and only judges whose loyalty to the Nazi movement was not in doubt, were selected for the new courts, would oversee proceedings, helped by 3 lay judges from the Nazi Party, the SS or the SA. Between 1934 and 1939, around 3,400 Germans, nearly all of them communists or social democrats, were tried by these courts. A little over 100 were executed. The remainder received sentences averaging 6 years. Even so, Hitler would sometimes alter sentences if he thought they had been too lenient. And all the time, the regular courts continued to do their bit, trying thousands of cases of treason, for example. Now, I've already said in my first presentation in this little series that it was the Gestapo that came to symbolise the oppressive state. Hardly an earth-shattering statement. We all associate the Gestapo with terror. In dealing with opponents of the regime, Hitler made clear that there was no need for judicial proceedings, investigation and trial. The judgment of the security police, the Gestapo or Kripo, the ordinary police, was sufficient for both proof of guilt and decisions regarding punishment, that is, imprisonment or execution. And there would be no appeal. But public trials served their purpose as a warning to the population as a whole. Now the judiciary was brought under full Nazi control when in August 1934 judges, along with all civil servants, were required to take an oath of loyalty to Hitler personally and to join the National Socialist League for the maintenance of law and order. If they didn't, and joining the League meant that they would be bound to uphold Nazi principles in court, they would be forced to resign. Some judges were removed anyway. A German lawyers' front was also formed, which meant that lawyers, whether for the prosecution or the defence, were also bound to uphold Nazi views. Most of those arrested, whether tried or not, went to the camps rather than to prison. At first, these camps were very much makeshift affairs. The likes of disused factories and warehouses were used. A disused gunpowder factory in Dachau was the site of the first camp, but soon purpose-built camps, including the one at Dachau, were built, mostly in rural, out-of-the-way places though. This wasn't a knee-jerk reaction either. It had long been planned by the Nazis. The camps were put under the control of the SS and quickly became what the historian Richard Evans describes as a world without regulations or rules. Prisoners were forced to undertake hard labour in quarries, in agriculture and forestry. Rations were meagre, and there were frequent beatings. Indeed, the violence was brutal. Violence at the fist, the boot, the truncheon, and the gun. That said, the vast majority of those taken to the camps did not stay that long. 35% were detained for no more than a month, though we can be sure it would be a month they would never forget. And very, very few were detained for more than a year. Still, no legal limit was placed on their detention, so long as they constituted a threat to public security and order, a definition that was in the hands of the secret police and the Gestapo. I think there's the kind of detail here to help you achieve that top mark band. That's what I aim for in my tutorials too. And don't forget that if you feel you would benefit from tutorials, you should get your parents to check out if I have a slot available. And by the way, I should add, they're all online. All they have to do is contact me at historymadeeasier@gmail.com, and I'll get back to them, and hopefully we can sort something out. 3 things to say about my tutorials. They are designed to stand on their own. That is, they will not require more work outside of the tutorial from you, unless that's something you want. They are focused on your needs, whether that's a subject you're struggling with or writing good history, dealing with those source papers, for example. And I can help mind with your coursework. Though having said that, you might find it more useful to have a tutorial with a friend and share ideas and share the cost. And on the subject of cost, I am happy to negotiate a fee your parents are comfortable with. I'm in this to help, not become rich, which, as I always say, is just as well. But for now, let me thank you, as I hope I always do, for listening, and wish you the very best of luck in your studies. Cheers.